Welcome back to Wayne TV. I'm Joel Gilly. We have some very special guests with us. We've got, of course, Sherry Archibald with the United Way of Wayne County, and we've got a new friend with us here today. We're going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself and tell us what you do with United Way.
Well, my name is David Mercado. I'm the Senior Director of Operations at United Way of North Carolina, and I run the 211 project for the state.
You know, we hear so much about 211. We talk about 211 just about every month that we're here.
Every time we're together.
And now we've got somebody from 211 that can tell us all about it. So, David, you've been with dealing with 211 for a while, right? Not just here in North Carolina.
It's been a little bit over a decade, so I love it. So for us, 211 is an information and referral service. So this is where you'll be able to help consumers, which we call our callers, consumers in need of anything. It can be from something as simple as rental assistance all the way up to anything in regards to, hey, listen, I had a death in the family. We're looking for like resources to be able to help with, with funeral expenses. Our goal is to be able to be, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We currently have staff that were just working around the clock. We don't rush any calls. Our calls, every caller calls in, we just take our time with them and we make them feel that peace so we can help them during their time of need.
I know it's got to be challenging because you guys are dealing with all 100 counties across the state and so many resources. So, I kind of want to talk about that link between the local, because it takes the local United Ways to tell you guys about the resources, right? So talk a little bit about how all that works.
So that's awesome. Good question. So the way it works for us is we currently have resource coordinators and we assign them to counties. So like they're basically broken up into quadrants, and then the local United Ways that we have there become great partners with them. So they're letting us know what they have new to the ground, what's going on, which resources are active, which are not active. On top of that, our resource coordinators are reaching out. So once a year, we vet our resources. So instead of having like an old yellow book that's dusted and be like, well, we don't know if these are any good, but try these. Yeah. We call and we actually verify them. So it's not just checking their website, because some people, like if they're small organizations, they don't update their website real time. So we reach out, hey, how's it going? Okay, so you're offering this service. Are you still offering this? And we make sure our resources are completely up to date. So anything that we give our consumers, they're up to date. We share those resources with our local United Ways so that they know, and they might say, David, you know what? You don't have these three. So they'll give us that information. We reach out to them, we get their permission, and we put them on our site.
That's awesome.
So Joel, what you're describing is the way that it used to be, though. Yeah. It was the local United Ways who had to really keep up with all of that, and we used to kind of have a kind of an annual call day of asking volunteers to come in and call all these resources to make sure nothing's changed. Their address hasn't changed, their services haven't changed, and it's a big task. I mean, it was a really big job on top of what we're already doing. Yeah. The way things are now is just so streamlined and so helpful. Not only does it help support the work that they're doing because they are taking the calls at the state level, but also it helps that we are not having that task on us each month, so we're communicating closely with that navigator that they already have in the state. Yeah. Very helpful.
That is. Talk a little bit about, what's a day in the life like? How many calls are you guys getting a day? And I know that varies, but what does that look like for you guys typically?
So inbound, we're looking between like 800 to 1,000 calls per day.
Whew.
That's just inbound calls. We also have outbound campaigns, and you're talking 24/7.
Yeah.
So at one point, the evolution of where we've gone from. So we brought in, about 2 years ago, we started bringing in the contact centers. We had 2 contact centers that were in North Carolina that were doing the day-to-day operations, and then we had an overnight contact center. So during this evolution, we've brought them all back in. So they're all under one organization, which makes it easier because that means you're streamlining training. Yep. You're streamlining the information that consumers are getting, how they're getting it. So like a day-to-day, it's depending on the day, like Monday, we already know that Duke Energy is going to send out their emails and text messages, and we get the spikes in calls. Yeah. So we also understand, our regular specialists are answering between 30 to 40 calls per day. Our goal here is to take our time on the calls and make sure that consumers are being helped. One of the biggest things that we've incorporated is the follow-up. So right after every call, we do a basic survey, but see how you were doing. But we follow up 30 days later.
Oh, interesting.
And what we ask you is, how was the resources we gave you?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to take all these calls and be able to do them phenomenally. It's another thing to see if we're really making that impact in the community.
Moving the needle, yeah.
And that's great. So what we've been doing is getting consumers, that resource is good, but now in 30 days, their need changes.
Yeah.
So now we can pivot from that initial need and say, okay, we helped you with this one, now we can help you with the next need. Yeah. So their needs evolve with us, and we'll be able to help them out.
That's really amazing. I would have never thought it was that many calls a day. And that just goes to show you that there's so many needs out there across the state. You know, and when we talk about, you know, especially campaign time comes around and we talk about, hey, we need, all these nonprofits need your help. That just goes to show you that across North Carolina, that many calls a day, like there's such a need out there for what you guys do. So that's just my little promo point there. But I do want to talk, we had talked a little bit off camera, but I want to pivot and talk about Helene, right? Like that was a huge thing for North Carolina, a devastating storm. You guys are like partnered up, 211 is partnered up really with the state level government to where the state says if you need help, call 211, right? And so I think that's probably like the biggest like badge, you know, stamp of approval you can get is when the state's saying, hey, if you need resources, that's who you should call. So talk a little bit about how that was for you guys.
So, I mean, that's good. I mean, you know, so like I've discussed, we went through this evolution process, right? So kind of going into and restructuring the mind frame of our staff and letting them know like, hey, we're going to treat everybody like we want to be treated. So it was a blessing that it happened prior to Hurricane Helene. So we were able to get us where we needed to be. Hurricane Helene hit, so we're part of the state emergency, you know, management unit. So once it goes live and they say, hey, they activate state of emergency 211, we get activated. So we put one of our staff persons at the state level EOC while that duration of that disaster. So you're talking 26 days, 30 days, whatever it may be, they're there constantly. And then what we do is we open up a disaster line. So there's a different line. So where people are calling in, they're not having to go through the regular prompts. They hear, you know, if you're calling in for Hurricane Helene, press this. It automatically takes you to the first available specialist. So at this point, we have real-time resources. So now where we're asking you demographic questions on certain questions on a regular 211 call, we pivot that and we're asking you just quick questions to be able to help you immediately. And then partner you. So those resources change real time. So those are not the resources that we're vetting through the year. Those are resources we're vetting daily. So when there's something happening in a area and it's, you know, you might have water at this little mom and pop gas station today. And we'll be able to tell you, hey, there's, you know, 50 cases of water or 1,000 crates of this or whatever. We can send it, and once that's done, that comes off the resource, and we're pivoting those resources. So if FEMA's working or if, you know, Red Cross is working on shelters, we'll be able to do that. We partnered with Airbnb. So during Hurricane Helene, we were able to put in 540 people in 14-day stays.
Wow.
That's amazing. Like you think about it, because of the fact that all the volunteers that came in to help with Helene took over all those hotels that were locally. So what happens to that person that's working at the Jiffy Lube or the person that's working at Walmart? They have to travel outside their local areas. The major thing, we give hope. In a time of need, we give hope. So what we start doing is people are calling in, and you know, when the government activated 211, they were looking for unidentified people. So like they were saying, hey, call 211, they can help you. So we took a little bit over, like I wanted to say 15,000 people were asking for their loved ones. That's a toll, like figuring out how to do it and partnering with the state and partnering with Homeland Security and making sure that we're giving them the data and the information so that they can help locate. I don't use the word find because they're not considered missing. Because what happens is we got calls from China, Germany, all over the world, calling because they might have been in another country saying, hey, I know my parents are in Western Carolina. What can you do for us? The greatest feeling was when we got the phone calls, hey, we were able to talk to our parents. Everything is a lot better, you know. So it's during disaster when we activate, we actually have also agreements with other states that are 211s that they can help us because of the fact, obviously, the call volume goes up. Think about Helene, where we're currently averaging 800 to 1,000 calls per day. It was only 20% of the state that got affected. So the other 80% is still calling. So we had to figure out how to ramp up, which we did a phenomenal job with volunteers. I mean, also, I can't tell you how much the volunteers in our state were so amazing. Like people were just knocking on the door to pick up and help out between our other 211s in different states, between Texas, Alabama, you know, South Carolina. We were all helping each other out. So it's great to see when we do get activated how we're able to help out.
Absolutely. I love that. And so the big deal is if people need help, it's very easy. All they need to do is dial 211. That's what, you know, we work closely with United Way here in Wayne County, and I always joke about, you know, if there's something that somebody needs in our community, Sherry's usually my first call, because if she doesn't know, she'll find somebody who knows. But it's, you know, 211 is another thing that we tell people a lot. We find ourselves, you know, telling people call 211 if you need help, you know. if it's outside of our scope of work. So it's really easy, just 211. That's all you have to remember. It's very simple.
Well, the greatest thing is, I mean, obviously you have 211, and then some people are afraid to call, right? And if you have internet access, you can go to nc21.org, and you can check our resources online. We just made a partnership with Code the Dream, which is a version of My Friend Ben.
Okay.
So if you go into our website and you go and you click on it, it lets somebody put in their own information. Like, you know, I'm a family, you don't have to put your name, but you'll put, hey, family of 4, you know, I get this, I get that, I pay this, I have this, and all these things, and it tells you long-term resources and short-term resources. So it's cool. Let's say that you're a family and you're struggling financially and you're looking for food. They'll tell you that it takes you 2 hours to apply for a SNAP benefits, right?
Yeah.
But then if you go to short-term, it says, hey, the Food Bank of North Carolina offers this, and you can get that immediately.
Yep.
So we're offering people that might be shy to make that phone call first, but we're giving them options, right?
Yeah.
But the most important thing is just look for the help. Like, it's there.
Yeah.
Right now, our current wait time is less than 15 seconds per call.
Wow.
So like you figure like where you can call at any time and you're going to get somebody that answers.
And that's free.
That's free.
That's better service than I get from most of the companies that I pay services to.
Multi-language too. I mean,
You know, if my internet's down, I call for my internet, I'm waiting a lot longer than 15 seconds.
Well, and exactly what Sherry said. So like obviously we do have bilingual representatives that are in-house, right, that speak English and Spanish. But forget about that. Like you say you speak in German, we use a language line.
Okay. Yep.
Anything. So we can get a hold of anybody to be able to help you. So we don't want anybody to feel like they can't not get the help. We
Yep.
want them to know, like, just call and any need can be helped. And the good thing is we're empowering our citizens and our community to look for the help. So it's not like we're going to give you money.
Yep.
We're going to give you the right resources where you can look for and that they can help you long term.
I love it. I love it. Sherry, is there anything else that we left out you would like to talk about?
I think that wraps it up. That's
David
great.
and I pretty much took over. I'm
I'm
so
so
sorry.
glad. You did great. You did great.
David, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for our partnerships. I think one of the biggest things I do want to say is we are very grateful for the local United Ways.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are. Like, you know, the true partnerships. I mean, thinking about like Sherry celebrating 100 years. Like that's just to show that in the community that you've been a staple for 100 years. It's just a blessing to be a partnership. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, thank you so much for coming in.
you.
We really appreciate it. It's been so good to learn about the 211 program. And from what I understand, we're going to come visit you sometime soon and see the inner workings of 211.
It'd be awesome.
The how it's made, if you will. But y'all, thank you so much. And we'll see you again next time right here on Wayne TV.